Let's get this paper started. It is 10:20 in the morning. Got like 10 hours. I mean, it's due at 8. Wait, did I forget the dishes? Oh man, it's gonna smell bad. Let me do them real quick. Wait, what was it doing again? Dishes all done. Hold on. That's right. Gotta do the laundry real quick. I'm so glad I'm doing all these chores. Sweet, it's all done. Quick nap won't hurt. Oh my goodness, you look beautiful. Diving in. No, I don't want any blueberries, Gary V. Huh? Oh no, the time. It can't be past 8, right? Oh shit.
I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed.
What's up? My name is Morgan, and on today's episode of Self-Deprecating Jokes, we're diving deep into procrastination. Firstly, we're going to talk about the fundamentals of procrastination, and secondly, actionable steps to actually get out of this procrastination rut. As per usual, all the timestamps can be found right over here. Man, you take a long time to read, don't you? Anyways, if you're ready, let's get going. Wait a second, that was the wrong button. Hold up. I used to think that procrastination was just some sort of disease that blocked me from taking action no matter how much willpower I used. But if we break down what procrastination really means, it's simply to put something off that you don't want to do right now. Therefore, it must mean that whatever we decide to do in place of what we're supposed to be doing is more enjoyable than the thing that we're procrastinating on. So instead of asking, how do I stop procrastinating, we should be asking, how do I make this task easier or more enjoyable to do? But before I get into the strategies, let's dive a little deeper into what procrastination really is. Procrastination in essence is a product of fear. So why does this even happen? Like, we're not genuinely afraid of a piece of paper, right? Physiologically, your brain wants to delay feeling negative emotions. So when you have a task that you don't want to do, it's due to it bringing up negative emotions. So you put it off because you're fearful of feeling anxious, stressed, frustration, or any other negative emotion. As Mel Robbins says, the author of the 5-second rule, and no, she's not the founder of eating food off the ground. Procrastination is a form of self-defense against stress. It's your body's natural response to not do a task when faced with the stress of negative emotions. But why does this happen? Why is this our natural response? Like, do you know? There are several reasons why this occurs, but the main reason that I'll be talking about is the inner fear of failure. Many of us have these core irrational thoughts that whatever we create or produce isn't of high quality enough. And most of the time, we define our self-worth from what we produce. And so, if it's not good, we often think of ourselves as not good. It's as though we think, if I don't get an A on this paper, I'm not worthy enough as a human being. Therefore, if you don't get started or simply put it off, you don't have to face the judgmental thoughts or the negative emotions that come with it. So, back to the initial problem in question. How do I make this task easier or more enjoyable? The first tip that I have is to focus on the process and not the outcome. What I mean by this is to spend your time thinking about the actions that need to be done rather than the outcomes you need to achieve. One of the things I did with a buddy of mine in order to focus on creating an enjoyable process was to utilize our brain's reward systems for our own benefit. And this was even talked about in Atomic Habits by James Clear. What we did is we took 2 small jars and several marbles. One jar was the negative jar, which I labeled hurting others, pain, and disappointment. The other was the positive jar, which I labeled reaching potential, stability, and giving. At the start of the day, I would put 15 blue marbles into the negative jar, and for every hour that I had done some type of work, I would move 1 marble from the negative into the positive jar. The goal here was to shift my attention away from finishing this task and into get as many marbles into the positive jar as possible. And as a result, the task would finish itself off naturally. Now this was extremely effective, as every time that I plopped a marble into the positive jar, I could literally sense a huge dopamine spike in my brain, thus enhancing the positive feedback loop of do more work so that I can put another marble into the jar and get more dopamine. The second tip that I have here for you is to get clarity by breaking down each process of the task into bite-sized pieces. Writing a paper or studying for an exam is too broad. Thinking in this way is like thinking you can solve a 1,000-piece puzzle using all the pieces at once. Rather, start off with the corner section and find the pieces with similar colors and build each section one by one. In a similar way, you can break down a paper into bite-sized pieces that can actually be accomplished in one sitting. Sweet. So you got clarity on your task, but what happens when you find yourself procrastinating on that clear and actionable task? Well, number one, you could tell yourself to simply
just do it! Make your dreams come true!
do it! But if you actually want a reliable system, accountability is the way to go. And so tip number 3 is to grab a friend, a classmate, a family member, a pickle, it really doesn't matter, just whoever, and shoot them a text and a screenshot of exactly what it is that you're going to be accomplishing and set a consequence for that task. Essentially, tell them that if you don't complete this task by this due date that you arbitrarily set for yourself, you'll send them some type of consequence. For myself, I set either a $25 or $50 consequence to make sure that it actually gets done. Yes, I know. I know this is a freaking $1 and I know this is Singaporean dollars, but I couldn't find a $25. There is no $25 bill, okay? And I don't have 50 bucks. This then takes me straight into tip number 4, which is to take advantage of Parkinson's law. And Parkinson's law essentially states that work expands so as to fill the time allotted to it. So if you give yourself 2 weeks to complete a paper, you'll probably get it done within 2 weeks. And if you give yourself 2 days to complete a paper, you're gonna get it done within 2 days. Simply put, set a deadline. And you know this is true. A lot of you students out there, I know whenever you have a paper due the next day, you would chug down 3 Red Bulls, 2 caffeine pills, and work on that paper like your life freaking depended on it. And guess what? You always did it. But hey, life doesn't have to be a whole bunch of intensive sprints with you risking a heart attack every single semester. We can actually use Parkinson's law to trick our brains into completing tasks into a timely fashion. So how do we actually do it? Grab your Google Calendar, pick a color that pops out, and set a due date a few days or even a week in advance. Then message your accountability partner or friend or pickle the new early due date and set a consequence that you both agree to. Obviously, this works best with someone who's committed and actually willing to check in with you as well. And now, for my favorite procrastination hack that I've used countless of times myself, the 2-minute hack. Here's how to do it. Tell yourself and genuinely convince yourself that you're only going to work on this task for 2 minutes. But you do have to follow these 2 rules. Number 1, do not become a perfectionist. Just do the task and do not worry about the details. And number 2, when the 2 minutes are up, you are 100% free to go. Do not pressure yourself to do more. Heck, you can even reward yourself after the 2 minutes are done. I am willing to bet though, you'll probably find yourself in some type of a flow and much more likely to actually get the job done. You can't even see the bridge. And the reason why is because Newton himself said it best. An object at rest will remain in rest, and an object in motion will continue to be in motion unless acted upon by an external force. And so it's much easier to stay in the workflow mode once you've simply gotten started and got that motion. I like to call this phenomenon the resistance hurdle, whereby the biggest obstacle in any task or project is simply getting started because the amount of energy required is highest right in the beginning when there is no momentum. And it just comes down to how can I get over this resistance barrier? Sometimes it's willing and pushing myself to just man up and get shit done. And other times it's utilizing Parkinson's law, accountability, setting clarity, and the 2-minute rule. If you got to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, you might enjoy this video about how I journaled for 700 plus days. You can find it right over here. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and with that, I'll see you in the next one. Talk soon. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to film here. Oh my gosh. Shut up, SkyTrain. Another SkyTrain?